When he said those words, "You'll never succeed without me," I didn't realize how much they'd haunt me. They became a voice that echoed inside my head every single night. First, I believed him. I really did. 'Cause back then, I was fragile. I thought love meant sacrifice, and I had given up everything for him. My dreams, my friends, even the small parts of myself that made me who I was. His name was Ethan. Charming, confident, and so sure of himself that everyone around him seemed to orbit his world. And me? I was just happy to be close to his light. I mistook control for love. Every decision, every step, every opinion, somehow it all had to go through him. He said it was because he knew better. I wanted to believe that was protection, but it was power. I didn't see the cage forming around me until it was too late. He'd look at me and say things like, "You're nothing without me. Who would even hire you? You're too emotional." I used to laugh it off, pretending it didn't sting, but deep inside I was dying a little more each day. The night we broke up was the night he made sure to crush whatever dignity I had left. He looked at me, eyes cold, and said, "You'll never make it. You'll come running back when you realize no one else wants you." Then he turned his back and walked away as if I didn't matter. And maybe at that moment I didn't, because the next few weeks were hell. I cried until I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't even recognize myself. My phone stayed silent, no messages, no calls. It was as if the world had moved on and left me behind. I kept asking myself what was wrong with me. The truth was, I had built my whole world around him. And when he left, that world collapsed. I lost my job shortly after. My boss told me I'd been too distracted, and she wasn't wrong. I barely showed up, physically or mentally. The little apartment we'd shared felt like a tomb, full of his things, his scent, his memories. I didn't have the strength to throw anything away. One night I sat on the floor surrounded by photos of us, laughing, hugging, pretending we were happy. My hands were shaking as I tore one picture after another, until all that was left were tiny pieces of paper scattered across the floor like snow. That was the night I promised myself something. I would never let him be right. The next morning, I packed a small bag and left the city. I moved into a cheap studio apartment 3 towns away. It had peeling wallpaper, noisy neighbors, and a broken heater. But it was mine. For the first time in years, I had silence, the kind that hurts at first but slowly turns into peace. I started working at a local cafe. It wasn't glamorous and the pay was barely enough, but the people there were kind. There was an older woman named Margaret who used to tell me every day, "Sweetheart, healing takes time. But one day you'll wake up and the pain will feel a little smaller." I didn't believe her. Until one morning, I realized I had gone an entire hour without thinking about him. That hour turned into a day. That day into a week. I started to feel alive again. I began reading books about self-worth, about rebuilding after emotional abuse, words I never thought would describe my relationship. I learned that control isn't love, and love doesn't make you smaller. I started journaling every night, writing letters I'd never send. Letters to the girl I used to be. Letters to the woman I was becoming. And yet, even as I healed, that voice still echoed in my mind. "You'll never succeed without me." So I made it my mission to prove him wrong. I enrolled in an online business course. I worked extra shifts to afford it. Some nights I'd come home so tired my hands trembled, but I'd still open my laptop and study. I learned about digital marketing, branding, and small business management. It was like learning a new language, one that gave me back the power I had given away for years. Then one afternoon, while making coffee for a customer, I overheard 2 women talking about a local charity struggling to promote their events. Something clicked inside me. I approached them and offered to help for free at first. I created social media pages, designed flyers, and helped them reach more people. Within a month, their donations doubled. That was the spark. Soon, small businesses started reaching out to me. "Can you help us too?" they'd ask. I didn't have much experience, but I had drive. I said yes to every opportunity. I built a small portfolio, one project at a time. Then one day, Margaret, the same woman who comforted me months ago, said, "You know, you could start your own agency." I laughed. Me? The girl who once believed she was nothing? But that night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I did it. I registered my business name, Rise Digital Studio. It felt symbolic. Like I was finally rising from the ashes he left me in. The first few months were brutal. There were nights I cried out of exhaustion, mornings I doubted everything. But every time I wanted to quit, I'd hear his voice again, and it pushed me forward. His cruelty became my fuel. A year later, I had clients from 3 different cities. I hired 2 assistants. I moved into a bigger apartment, warm, bright, full of life. I even bought a plant, something I could nurture and watch grow. Maybe that's what healing is. Learning to grow again. Still, I never told anyone about Ethan. Not even Margaret. He was a closed chapter. Or so I thought. Until one afternoon, I got an unexpected message on LinkedIn. It was from him. "Hey, long time no see. I heard about your company. Congratulations. Maybe we could catch up sometime." I stared at the screen for a long time. My heart raced, not from love, but from something deeper. Power. I didn't reply immediately. I waited 3 days. Then I simply wrote back. "Sure. Coffee." We agreed to meet at the same cafe where I used to work. When I walked in, I could feel every nerve in my body buzzing. He was already there, sitting at the table by the window, the same confidence, the same smirk. But I wasn't the same woman. He stood up, gave me that smug smile and said, "Wow, you look different." "I am," I replied. He started talking about himself, how his job had been stressful, how people didn't appreciate his brilliance. Typical Ethan. He asked about me, but I could tell he wasn't really listening. Until I pulled out my phone and showed him something. My agency's website. My clients. My team. My work. His eyes widened. "Wait, this is yours?" "Yes," I said softly, almost whispering. "This is what I built without you." For a moment, the silence between us felt like victory. He looked at me, stunned, his ego shattering behind that polite smile. And that's when I realized I didn't need revenge. His disbelief was enough. He tried to play it cool, said something like, "That's great. I always knew you were smart." But we both knew that wasn't true. He hadn't believed in me, not once. When I stood up to leave, he said, "You're really doing well, huh?" "I am," I said. "But not because of you. In spite of you." I turned around and walked away, my heart beating fast. Not from anger this time, but from peace. Still, as I left that cafe, a strange sadness washed over me. Not for him, but for the version of myself that once begged for his love. The girl who thought her worth depended on someone else's approval. That girl was gone. And yet, I whispered under my breath, almost like a prayer, "Thank you, Ethan." Because without his cruelty, I might never have found my strength. But that wasn't the end. Because fate, it seems, wasn't done with us yet. 2 months later, our paths crossed again. In the most unexpected way imaginable. 2 months later, I was invited to speak at a local entrepreneurship conference. The theme was building from nothing. It felt symbolic, almost poetic. I had come from nothing, from the ashes of humiliation, and now I was being asked to inspire others to rise too. That morning, I woke up before dawn. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, remembering how I used to avoid mirrors altogether. Back then, all I could see was the woman he broke. But now I saw someone reborn, calm, confident, and in control. I arrived at the venue early. People were bustling around with cameras and microphones, lights flickering, the air filled with nervous excitement. When I stepped onto the stage to test my mic, I looked out at the empty chairs and smiled. I had spent years being silent. Now people would listen to me on my terms. An hour later, the seats filled. The crowd buzzed. And then, just as the host was introducing me, I saw him, Ethan, sitting in the 3rd row. He wasn't alone. He was wearing a corporate badge, the kind sponsors wore. For a moment, my heart froze. What was he doing there? The host's voice snapped me back. "Please welcome our next speaker, the founder and CEO of Rise Digital Studio, Emily Carter." The applause echoed like thunder. I took a deep breath, smiled, and walked onto the stage. My legs were steady, but my mind raced. Part of me wanted to run. Another part wanted to face him, to show him, without a single word, that his prophecy had failed. I began my speech. I used to think that success was something other people were born with. That confidence was something I'd never have. But then life, or maybe love, broke me in ways I didn't expect. And when I had nothing left, I realized that's when I was finally free to rebuild. The room went silent. Every eye was on me. including his. I told them my story, not with bitterness but honesty. I didn't name him, but I spoke of control disguised as care, love disguised as power, and how easy it is to lose yourself when you let someone else define your worth. I talked about rebuilding from scratch, about the nights of doubt, the tears, and the quiet victories. As I spoke, I saw something shift in his face. His smirk was gone. His eyes, the same eyes that once looked down on me, now looked small, lost. I ended my talk with a line that came straight from my heart. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving someone wrong. It's proving yourself right. The audience stood and clapped. I didn't look at him again. After the speech, dozens of people came up to me, shaking my hand, asking for advice, thanking me for my honesty. I smiled, took photos, and felt a warmth I hadn't felt in years. For once, I didn't feel like I was pretending. But just as I was packing my things, I heard that voice again, softer now, almost uncertain. Emily. I turned around. It was him. He looked older somehow, tired. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something like regret. I didn't know you'd be speaking here, he said. I work for one of the sponsors. I had no idea. I shrugged lightly. Small world. He smiled awkwardly. You were amazing up there. Really. I'm proud of you. Those words, once so powerful, now meant nothing. I didn't need his pride anymore. Thank you, I said simply. He hesitated, then added, You know, I wasn't always fair to you. I stopped him. Ethan, you don't have to rewrite the past. It was what it was. And honestly, I'm grateful for it now. He blinked, confused. Grateful? Yes, I said, meeting his eyes. Because you taught me who I never want to be again. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he nodded slowly, as if finally understanding something too late. Before he could say anything else, someone called my name, the event organizer, asking me to sign a few more things. I smiled politely at Ethan. Take care, I said. And just like that, I walked away again. But this time, I didn't feel like I was running from him. I was walking toward myself. Over the following months, things moved fast. My agency got featured in a business magazine. I was invited to collaborate with bigger companies, even travel abroad for projects. Every milestone felt like another piece of armor, not to protect me from the world, but to honor the woman I'd become. One evening, while working late in my office, I received an email. It was from Ethan again. He said he had been laid off and was looking for freelance opportunities. He'd seen that my company was hiring consultants and wondered if I'd consider him. I stared at the screen, speechless. Life really has a dark sense of humor. I could have ignored it. I could have laughed or deleted it or forwarded it to my team for amusement. But instead I replied, Hi Ethan. Thank you for reaching out. Unfortunately, I don't think we're the right fit. But I wish you all the best. That was all. No sarcasm, no cruelty. Just closure. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about power, quiet, peaceful power. And that's when I realized something profound. The true victory isn't when they want you back. It's when you no longer need them to. Weeks turned into months. My company kept growing. My life filled with color again. Dinners with friends, late-night laughter, weekends by the sea. I had stopped checking my phone for anyone's approval. My happiness was finally mine. But sometimes, late at night, when the world went quiet, I still heard his voice echoing faintly. You'll never succeed without me. Only now it didn't hurt. It made me smile. Because in a strange way, he was right. I didn't succeed without him. I succeeded because of him. Because his doubt was the fire that burned away my fear. His rejection was the mirror that forced me to see my worth. And maybe that's how life works. Sometimes the people who break us are the ones who unknowingly push us toward the version of ourselves we were meant to become. One Sunday morning, I walked to the park near my new apartment. The sun was warm, the air smelled like freedom. I sat on a bench, closed my eyes, and thought about how far I'd come. Then, out of nowhere, I saw a familiar figure walking on the other side of the park. Ethan. Alone, hands in his pockets, eyes downcast. He didn't see me. For a moment, I felt a wave of something I hadn't expected, compassion. Not for what he did, but for what he never learned. He had spent his whole life needing to be above others, never realizing that true strength comes from lifting people up, not tearing them down. I watched him disappear into the crowd, And with that, I finally felt it, the weight lift completely. I whispered to myself, "You were wrong, Ethan. I didn't just succeed. I became free." And in that silence I smiled. Because that's the thing about pain, it can either destroy you or it can rebuild you. I chose to rebuild. And now when people ask me about my story, I tell them this. Once, a man told me I'd never succeed without him. And today he got his surprise. Because success isn't just about money or fame or recognition. It's about peace. It's about walking away from the ruins with your head held high, your heart healed, and your spirit unbroken. So if you've ever been told that you can't, that you won't, that you're nothing without someone, remember this. Their words don't define you. Your resilience does. And the day you stop needing their validation, that's the day you truly win. So here's to the ones who were underestimated. The ones who were left, doubted, and broken. You're not the aftermath. You're the beginning. And if you're still standing after everything they did to break you, you've already won. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is not revenge at all. It's peace. If you made it here with me, thank you. Maybe this story reminded you of someone, or maybe it reminded you of yourself. If it did, share it. Tell me your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because there are more stories like this, stories that prove one thing. No one defines your worth but you.